Hey guys, thanks for stepping away from the fishing and joining me here on the deck at La Cueva del Fishful, checking out all the cooking that we got going on for you guys today here on the shores of beautiful Horseshoe Reservoir. So today's recipe is one that you want to do with some of your best pieces of fish. You know, we're real big on doing recipes that you can do with any kind of fish you might happen to have. This is for your fresh walleyes or your fresh white bass or really good trout, something like that. It's a very, very, very simple recipe, which is why the fish needs to be really good. So basically all we're gonna do is grill off a piece of fresh cod that I happen to have that I caught in Alaska. We're gonna grill that off, but we're gonna serve it with a really tasty beurre blanc, which is a French wine and butter sauce. We're gonna make some of that right here on the side. So as you can see right now, I've got the grill box heating up. We're gonna let it get really hot. I've oiled the grates and we're gonna let it get really hot. It's got 60,000 BTUs of burners running underneath it. It's gonna start off with just a little tiny bit of olive oil in this pan. We're gonna need a little bit of minced shallots and we'll put these in that skillet right here. We're gonna let them go just for a couple of minutes. All right, as soon as those shallots have a little bit of color in them, we're gonna get down in here in the Trooper 30 cooler. And we are going to get out a little bit of white wine for starters. And we're gonna add a pretty good dose of white wine in there, maybe a half a cup of white wine. We'll let that spatter down a little bit there. And then we're also gonna add just a touch of white wine vinegar. Then we're gonna add some lemon juice. And we're gonna add some lemon zest. We'll add just a little bit of white pepper to it. And the last ingredient I'm gonna put in here before this finishes reducing down is a little bit of cypress lemon salt. I'm gonna throw a couple of capers in here. We want that reduced down till it's almost a syrup. While it's reducing, we'll cook the fish. Now this is some cod that I caught up in Alaska. I'm gonna put a little bit of canola oil on here, and we wanna cover both sides of it with just a little bit of canola oil. A little bit of salt on both sides and a little bit of pepper. We're gonna cook them on the skin, what would have been the skin side down, even though they don't have any skin on them. And my grill's plenty hot at this point. You can see that the grill's very hot. And we're gonna take these guys and put them right down on here. We'll leave that open and just let those cook. They'll cook real quick. All right guys, at this point I believe that fish is ready to turn. The biggest thing with grilling fish is you need to make sure your grill grates are well oiled and that they're hot enough. Perfect, we'll just let those go for just a couple of minutes and they'll finish up right away. I turned all the heat off on the beurre blanc at this point. That is turned down now where there's no more heat going on there. Now it's time for the tricky part. All right, so first of all, you see this cooked down to next to nothing. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of cream to it, and then I'm gonna start adding butter, and this butter is cold. And the reason that I'm gonna start adding a little bit at a time is we want the butter to melt in, but we don't want this to come totally apart. And then as the butter starts to melt, we'll just keep adding more cold butter in there, more cold butter, until all of it is in there. And it melts down. And I need a little bit of heat under it, so we'll just go over here with it, no big deal. But you can't let this get hot. If you let this get hot, guys, it will come all the way apart. The butter will separate and you will have a broken beurre blanc, and you don't want that. And that basically, guys, is almost a full stick of butter that's in here. So we're gonna strain this now, and you can see that it's very thick. And we're gonna strain this, all this chunks out. Now, you can leave that in there. If you want a very rustic sauce, you can for sure just go ahead and leave that stuff in there. Our fish and everything is done. We're gonna go ahead and put the lid down on here just for a minute, just to make sure that everything's come all the way up to temperature real quick. And we'll give it about 30 seconds or so, and then we'll go ahead and get it plated up and see how it tastes. In the meantime, I made some steamed broccoli as well, and we're gonna have that on the side. Steamed broccoli, asparagus goes really good with a beurre blanc as well. It's just a very classic sauce that you can take a lot of different directions in. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pull this off here, guys, because I know at this point that it's done. So we turn the Camp Chef off altogether. We'll get this fish right off of there. We'll get this piece right off of there. We'll take this steamed broccoli, put some of this over here on the side as well. And we'll take a little bit of this stuff and just drizzle it ever so slightly over the top of everything. We'll hit it with a little bit of chopped parsley on here just for a little bit of color over the top of the fish. There you have it. Very, very, very simple. Grilled fish with a beurre blanc sauce. The beurre blanc is really the magic. You could use any kind of fish you want with this, so long as it's good and fresh. This is not something you want a really gamey fish or really pungent fish for, but a beurre blanc is a very classic sauce for vegetables and fish. So let's give it a quick taste and see how it is right here. It's really, really good. Grilled cod, who knew? Salt, pepper, and beer blanc. Very, very simple, guys. So take your fresh fish, make some of this with it. I think you'll be surprised. If you would like the recipe, you can get that at fishfulthinker.com. Of course, the video of it will be at Fishful Thinker YouTube channel as well, or on social media at Fishful Thinker across all platforms. Otherwise, we hope you enjoyed today's show, both the fishing and the cooking. We hope you'll tune in. We'll see you next week.